Hey guys, John here with Downs Property Maintenance. Wanted to share with you a quick tutorial on how to repair drywall. If you should need to, homeowners, maybe you don't want to hire somebody, maybe you don't have the funds to hire somebody, or maybe you just want to do it yourself. I'm working on a project right now where whoever installed the drywall in this particular house, for some reason, I'm not sure if they didn't tape the seams or exactly what's going on, but where the seams are in the drywall, they started cracking, and it's not very old either. I want to say, I think the customer said that that this was just installed a few years ago. You can see that I've already put one coat on the seam there and there, and I'm working around the fireplace right now to put the second coat on. A few things I want to point out when doing drywall repairs, small cracks where you don't need to tape. First of all, personally, I think that this joint compound is about as good as any. I mean, it works very well for me. It's not super heavy, but it's not super light, and it seems to spread fairly well. I've used all different kinds. I've even used, 20-minute mud, 45-minute mud, 90-minute mud, and those are good for quick fixes. If you need to get in and out within one day, you can use the faster setting mud. However, that stuff is extremely hard to sand. So keep that in mind if you ever decide to use it. It's good for a first layer. It's not good for a finish layer of mud. As you can see, like I said, I've already put one coat on. This is the first coat here. And you see how I have these little lines that kind of stick up? If you are doing a drywall repair in a large area and you start getting these kind of deformities, or whatever you want to call them, in your mud work, don't worry about that. You can take a simple 5-in-1 tool or a scraper. Once it's dry, scrape that right off. No big deal. There's no sense in sitting there keep messing with it, going back and forth trying to get it completely perfect. You're gonna sand this stuff in the end anyways. Like I said, you can scrape that right off. I don't worry too much about that. What you do want to worry about, and the object of the game is to sand as little as possible, but what you want to worry about are your edges, like out here. You want your edges to be somewhat feathered so that when you sand it, it'll all, and when you sand it and paint it, it'll all blend in and you won't see the drywall repair. You don't want to have big, heavy edges on your drywall repair. You want those just to be kind of real faint and float out. As you can see what I've done here. I mean, if you look down the wall through the camera, you can't really, I ran this clear across the wall and you can't really see it, and it hasn't even been painted yet or sanded. So that's kind of what you're going for. Like I said, don't worry about those lines that will tend to form because you're putting too much pressure on one end of the knife. If you can keep that from happening, that's great. I mean, but if it's something where you're going to spend a bunch of time messing with it, trying to get it perfect, don't worry about it. Let it dry, scrape it off, and sand it a little bit, and you'll be good to go. Another thing I want to show you when doing mud work, it's always good to either have a hawk or a bigger knife to work off of. I will show you what I'm talking about. Like I said, I was going to show you how to work off of another mud knife. I also have a hawk, which is a square, like a metal platform that has a handle on it. You can put a bunch of mud on it and work off of it. You got your knife, got some mud on there, and you just want to work off of it, kind of mixing your mud a little bit as you go. Try to get some of the air out of it, kind of work it around a little bit before you actually stick it on the wall or the ceiling, whichever you happen to be working on. Come over here. You want to keep your knife as flat as possible as you're spreading it out. And like I said, the main main thing to be worried about is your edges. And obviously you don't want any holes in your mud work. You don't want any big holes or even little holes. Depending on how much air is in the mud, your first layer you might have some little itty bitty holes that you'll see after it dries, or you might even see them forming as you're putting it up there. Try to smooth it out if you can. If you can't, you know, you'll have to get it with your second coat of mud. That's one of the reasons why you want to kind of mix this up a little bit on your knife. Just work it, try to get some of that air out of it, and it seems to spread a little bit better. Another thing that you can do that helps a lot too is in your actual mud bucket, before you use it or when you're done every day using it, put just a little bit of water. And when I say a little bit, I mean just a very little bit, like not even, maybe like a couple tablespoons of water in your mud, 4 or 5 tablespoons, and just put it in there at the end of the day, close it up, and the next day when you come to use it, or the next time you come to use it, mix it up as good as possible. Slap some on your knife, mix it up with your knives, and it'll spread a lot easier that way. Like I said, this is just a quick tutorial on how to a few do's and don'ts of drywall repair, and for the most part it's fairly simple. It does take some time to, you know, to get the knack of being able to lay your mud up there, you know, not have to spend a bunch of time sanding in the very end. But that will come with practice. And if you're a homeowner, I mean, unless, you know, honestly, unless you just really don't have time to mess with it or don't want to mess with it, this is one of those projects that you can do on your own and save yourself a little bit of money versus hiring a company like me to come in and do this for you. I mean, we'll gladly come and do it for you if you're in the Columbus area. Check us out, downspropertyn.com. Give us a call and we can schedule an estimate, come out and take a look at it for you. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. If there are any specific tutorials that you would like us to create for you, maybe a topic that you want to learn about, put that in the comment section below, and have a great day.